Guys, today we're going to be talking about how to make a figure 4 deadfall. I'm going to make a pretty good size one so you guys can really get a feel for how well this thing works. But I'm going to go ahead and gather up some material. I'll come back and show you guys how it's done. Just keep watching. Alright guys, we got our sticks. Remember, whenever you're picking sticks for your deadfall, you want to get something that's not too green, but you want something that's not too dead also. You want something kind of in between, something that fell over a couple of months ago that hasn't completely rotted out. But we got 3 of them. I'm going to get my tools together. We're just going to be using pretty much a knife and an axe to do this. But I'm going to gather my stuff up. Just keep watching. Alright, this is going to be our first stick. This is going to be our stand stick. And that's going to be obviously our stand for standing in the ground. And a lot of people like to make kind of a stake, but I don't like to do that because it sticks into the ground too much. What I like to do is I just like to take my stand stick and just kind of square off an area, and I'll show you how to do that here in a second. Okay, as you can see, I've got it kind of squared here on 3 sides. I got it right here that's got kind of a square, and I just left the other side. And that's going to come into play here in a little while, but it's important that you get it like that, that you get it nice and squared. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to turn it so that we got our back side of our square, side that we didn't touch. We're going to make sure that it's facing away from this side, the middle squared in area. And we're going to pick it up. We're going to take our axe or knife, whatever you got. I'm using my axe. We're going to make kind of a wedge head. Just kind of a better look at it. Here's my 3 sides. You got 1, 2, 3. And remember, I left that back side on it. You go up here, you can see how it flattens out to a flat head. And the center's here. You can turn it over. You can see how flat it is. Okay, this is going to be our second stick. This is going to be our bait stick. And now we're going to chop a kind of a spear point onto this end. Okay, we got our point finished on our bait stick. This is stick number 2. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to chop a notch into it, and we're going to make sure it's the same diameter as that squared off area on our first stick. So just set it down and figure out where you want to put it. In this case, we're just going to put it right there. And you can use your knife or your axe or whatever just to kind of give it some markings on both sides. And make sure that it's the same diameter as your stick. Too little is better than too much, because if you chop off too little, then you can always take off more, but if you chop off too much, you're just pretty much screwed. You gotta get a new stick. Alright, we got that C-notch carved in. Remember not to go too deep with your C-notch, guys. That should be deep enough because these are some pretty good sized sticks. But let's take our first stick, one with our squares, our squared ends on it, our edges, and we're going to see if it'll fit. Alright, this is our second stick, the bait stick. And this is our C-notch we just carved. but we're gonna see how well it'll go into our stand stick, our first stick we messed with. Okay, so it's gonna go like this. We got our squared edge here. Now we're gonna take our bait stick, stick it in there. Oh yeah, works really well. All right, you can see how we got it set up right now. This is what it looks like so far. This is where our bait's gonna be. This is where the rest of the trap's gonna be. Okay, it's gonna make the 4. So the way we're gonna do this is we're going to put a number 7 notch right down here. I'll show you a closer look at that here in a second. But you wanna remember that it's right down here. Okay, so you got your C notch on your bait stick. That fits right here on that squared area. You wanna remember to mark your area where you're gonna have your number 7 notch. Okay, because that's gonna be important. So I'm gonna go ahead and start working on that. Now we're going to just take our knife, just kind of carve into it. All right, you see I got the number 7 notch carved in. You see from the side it looks like a number 7, that's why they call it that. All right, we're gonna take our third stick and we're gonna make another wedge on it. We're just gonna make a screwdriver type wedge like we did with our first stick. We're gonna take it and just do the exact same thing. Right, as you can see, we got our third stick. We got our wedge on it. All right, after you got your wedge carved, you're gonna wanna make sure that it fits right into your number 7 notch. And it does. Fits in there pretty good. Put a little weight on it. Make sure that it's not gonna go anywhere. And it's holding pretty good. Yeah, it's doing pretty good. So now we're gonna make one more notch in our number 3 stick, and that's gonna be a number 7 notch, just like we did down here. Okay, just like that number 7 notch we did in the bait stick. So we're gonna put it right up here though. You just kind of mark it with your fingernail where it is, and that's where you're gonna cut it. All right, as you can see, I got my other number 7 notch. It's the last notch we needed to make. Now let's go try this out, see how well this thing will work. All right, guys, we got her set up. Now we're gonna get us a stick to trigger it. We're gonna see how well this thing will work. All right, we got us a nice stick here. I'm just gonna use it to trigger it, see how well it works. Just like that. Pretty effective. All right, guys, that's pretty much it. It's pretty simple to do. It's a little bit time consuming, I have to admit. That's one of the things I don't like about it. To be completely honest, I kind of hate this trap just because it takes forever to make it, just because of the little notches and everything. It's really easy to screw up. If I had another option, I would definitely go with that. Make something a lot simpler than this because it just takes way too long to make these. But I wanted to put it out there because I didn't see too many really good videos on how to make a deadfall. But I hope somebody gets some use out of this. It helped you guys out. Hit the like button, subscribe, leave any comments. And as always, keep your blade sharp and your mind sharper. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.